Welcome to Joy News Today. We're live on DStv channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We're streaming across all our social media platforms. We're Joy News on TV. Coming up this afternoon, Attorney General mounts spirited defense for Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo after critics took her on for changing some judges at the Supreme Court hearing an appeal filed by former Cocoa Board CEO Dr. Stephen Opuni. We have details of the Attorney General's statement, but Professor Kweku Asare and former NDC Tamale MP for Tamale Central, Inusuf Hussaini, says the Chief Justice is setting a dangerous precedent.
The development in the Supreme Court in connection with the Opuni case and the abandoning of the court is a very dangerous development. Justice must not only be seen to be done, but be manifestly be seen to be done. In this particular case, well, it raises serious concern.
Also in this bulletin, the Electoral Commission dismisses claims it intentionally disenfranchised residents of SAL in the 2020 elections. We'll tell you what exactly happened according to the EC. Also in this bulletin, growing anxiety among kidney patients across the country as government increases the cost of dialysis treatment more, as kidney patients is now required to pay close to 1,000 Ghana cedis every week for 2 sessions.
Countless numbers. Even the people were dying because of the previous cost. They were not able to afford the costs involved. I don't understand the government. I don't understand.
I'm Faustina Safo. Thanks for choosing us. Thanks for staying with us. Now we start with the Attorney General, Godfred Yeboah-Dame, because he has come to the defense of the Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo, who has been facing intense backlash from some activists and the NDC for reconstituting the panel of judges hearing an appeal filed by the former Cocoa Board CEO, Dr. Stephen Opuni. Well, Dr. Stephen Opuni is appealing the decision of the Court of Appeal, affirming the decision of the High Court not to restart his trial, in which he is accused of causing financial loss to the state. Member of our Legal Affairs desk, Kweku Asare, joins me in the studio with more on this raging controversy. Thank you so much, Kweku Asare, for your time. First of all, let's start with what is the history of this case?
So we know that since 2017, Isaac Opuni, who was the Cocoa Board CEO under the erstwhile John Dramani Mahama administration, was put before court. He was being tried for causing financial loss to the state regarding some controversial procurement decisions he took whilst he was CEO at Cocoa Board. And so the trial had been going on by an appeal court judge who became Supreme Court Judge, Justice Onyenuga, up until the time Justice Onyenuga went on retirement. And so a new judge was appointed by the Chief Justice to hear the case. That judge decided to hear the case afresh. The Attorney General appealed that case to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal reversed the decision of the earlier court to try this case from the start and urged the court to adopt the existing proceedings as it were already and not try to start the case anew. Dr. Opuni then goes to the Supreme Court to appeal that decision of the Court of Appeal, affirming the decision of the High Court on whether or not the case should be tried afresh. And that is where all this controversy comes in. So
who were the 5 initial judges that were actually hearing this case, and who has been changed so far?
Well, there was a 5-member panel, Justice Yoni Kulendi, Justices George Kumsin, Kofi, and Yawa Saridakon, with Mariama Owusu presiding. But on the day the judgment was expected to be given, the parties went to court and realized that the Chief Justice had changed, with the Chief Justice herself now replacing Mariama Owusu as the president of the panel. 2 other judges, Justice Yoni Kulendi and Justice George Kumsin, had been changed from this panel, meaning the 5-member panel that started hearing the case, still 5-member panel, but the Chief Justice has now come in to preside over the bench, and then Justice Kulendi has also been taken away from the panel. And that is something that persons are raising concerns about.
What are the reactions to this? So what are the concerns people are raising, especially with this initial change?
First, we've been hearing from Professor Kweku Asare, who has been demanding answers from the Chief Justice. He says the Chief Justice would have to come out publicly and explain why they had to change some of the judges on the case when they were just about due for judgment. And then there is also the NDC MP for Tamale Central, the former MP, Yunus Afuseni, who also says that the conduct of changing judges midstream while the case was still ongoing was dangerous.
Let's hear him.
Court, in connection with the Opuni case and the paneling of the court, is a very dangerous development. My information is that the appellant, and that is Opuni and Co., filed their written submissions in January. The Attorney General replied to the submissions, filed his response in February. The Supreme Court gave a date for judgment only for a new panel to be constituted to sit on the matter. Now, what I know of the practice of the Supreme Court is that after the submission of written judgments, the court might meet in conclave. And I suspect that the judgment the Supreme Court as empaneled then had met in conclave. That's my suspicion. Why the Chief Justice will change the panel at the last minute when the parties in the case were anticipating the judgment of the court is a matter that will concern everybody who is pursuing justice. I have said that in criminal cases, the rights of the accused person must be respected. And he has a right to fair trial, fair and transparent trial. And that is in tandem with the maxim which all lawyers recite, that justice must not only be seen to be done, but be manifestly be seen to be done. In this particular case, well, it raises serious concerns, and I think that everybody must be interested.
That's former MP for Tamale Central, Yunus Afuseni there. This is quite interesting because the Attorney General is also responding to this, mounting a spirited defense for the CJ. The
Attorney General has put out a three-page response to all the concerns people have shared. He says, for the purpose of educating the public, the Attorney General states that no party to proceedings in court has a right to insist on a particular court or panel of a court to hear his or her case. In accordance with the Constitution and the Courts Act of 1993, it is the Chief Justice that determines the composition of every court for the hearing of any matter. The Chief Justice is a member of every court in the country and has the power to request in writing a justice of any of the superior courts of judicature to sit either on the Court of Appeal or the High Court at any time. Further, consistent with Article 128 of the Constitution, the Chief Justice presides at sittings of the Supreme Court, and in his absence, the most senior of the Justices of the Supreme Court, as constituted, shall preside. He also goes on to give the background of the case, but insists that nothing has been done wrong here.
Kweko, stay with me because the Electoral Commission has dismissed accusations by President of Imani Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, that it intentionally disenfranchised the people of Central Kofi, Akpaflu, Lolobi, and Likbe, which is the South, in the 2020 parliamentary elections. It will be recalled that on December 6, 2020, just a day to the general election, the EC directed that residents in the South areas only vote in the presidential elections. Well, the constituents have since been without representation in Parliament. Kweko, you've been reading the EC statement. Tell me the justification.
The Electoral Commission says they were notified in 2020, just a few months to the election, by the local government ministry that they were creating a new district from the then Hohoi district to become a Guan district. You will recall that the Volta and Oti regions had been split, and so the South areas had now moved on to be in the Oti region instead of the Volta region, and could not. The Constitution says one constituency cannot fall between two regions. And so they had to move them to the Guan district in the Oti region. And that is why they had to do that. They say that contrary to claims by people like the Imani Africa, that they intentionally decided to disenfranchise the people of Sa or to create a gerrymandering situation so that the MPP can win the seat in Hawaii. It's not the case. And that when the office of the local government minister announced to them that there was going to be a new creation of a new district, for which reason they had to create a new constituency, they wrote to Parliament to lay a new CI to mature so that a new constituency can be created. But at the time, unfortunately, Parliament was on break, and so that CI could not have matured. They insist they have not done anything wrong. In fact, in this thing, they attach the correspondence between themselves, the Attorney General, and the local government ministry, to insist they've not done anything wrong, and that the criticism they've been facing from people like Imani are simply not founded.
What is the reaction to Imani to this? Has Franklin Cudjoe spoken about it?
Well, yes, he has also put out a lengthy statement in response. We've also had people like Baka Vomawa who have already petitioned the Chief Justice seeking to remove Madam Jean Mensah from office as the Electoral Commissioner because of these issues. They say that a statement put out by the Electoral Commission does not answer any question, and as far as they are concerned, the EC has actually muddied the waters the more.
Thank you so much, Biko Asante, here with us at JoyNews. Now, there is growing concern and anxiety among kidney patients across the country as government increases the cost of dialysis treatment. A kidney patient now is required to pay close to 1,000 Ghana cedis every week for 2 sessions on a dialysis machine. The kidney patients say government has eventually put a final nail in their coffin, leaving them with no option but to die. In the first part of our dialysis series, features editor Jojo Richard Kojo tells a story of disappointed anger and betrayal from government.
Last year, 15-year-old Priscilla Sante's young life was cut short. Her dream of becoming a nurse unfulfilled, leaving a void in the hearts of many. Her mother's voice joined the choruses across the country in calling on government to reduce the cost of dialysis in order for many to live. Priscilla was not the last to die. Many have died, and countless numbers are in the queue waiting to die because they can't afford to pay the cost of dialysis. 33-year-old Salas Mensah teary after hearing the announcement of the increase.
490 for a day, so in that week when it comes to it, costs you about 1,000.
He briskly calculates the amount of money he would now have to pay in order to live.
As for me, I don't have anybody. A guy saw me in Kumasi and then he told me to help me. If the price go high like this, I'm crying for the guy now. So that is now my greatest fear.
I was working at GES. I came, a year I came retirement, and I came then this thing started. That has been a very hard because of the money aspect of it. And right now too, it has been increased. So it is not easy.
Gabriel Mensah retired from the GES last year. Shortly after his retirement, he was diagnosed of the diseases. The weight of this announcement is evident in his voice.
The payment aspect is serious. Serious. We are going to die. We are going to die.
Patients here are angered by this announcement. Their anger is sandwiched with the never-ending plea to government to reconsider its decision. For 37-year-old Jackson, government can't simply send them to their early grave. Something urgent must be done.
Even the people were dying because of the previous cost. They were not able to afford the costs involved. I don't understand the government. I don't understand. Adding medication, lab costs, and dialysis fee, very difficult. So sometimes you think that, oh, Charlie, if you die, cry, it will be okay. So that your burden on the family and the friends will be over. And they use the money to do other things.
For these cocktail of stories told differently by different patients at the dialysis unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital revealed despair, disappointment, anger, and betrayal by government.
To stay alive, some renal patients have been forced to skip meals and limit water intake just to afford their treatments. Kojo Boafo, president of the Renal Association of Ghana, says patients at Kibu Teaching Hospital, despite numerous donations intended to alleviate their struggles, still have to pay for each dialysis session.
Some benevolent came in, did some presentations. I remember Zoom Lion came in, did some presentation. Reverend Bodin Ameche, Baker's House Chapel, did some donation. All that we heard, that they made the donations, but as to where the money is, where the money, whether it to be given to us or not to be given to us, We don't know.
So the donation that came through, you are not benefiting from it in any way?
We've not. When we go like...
It hasn't affected how much you pay?
Yes. When we go, we pay 380. When the place was closed down last year, around this time, because May 21st that it was closed, around this time, last year, we went back, I think, around October. We've been paying. Every session, we pay 380.
But what understanding did you get? That the donation was for the patients or for the hospital?
Most of the time we hear, Joy, you should have a clips of those things. Zoom Lion. I learned it's for the patients. That is what I heard. I was not the one that presented it, but I heard it on Joy. That is for the patient. Wedi Nyameche, I think it was around this time when the crisis was up.
And Wedi Nyameche is the head pastor of Makers
Chapel. Yeah. When the place was closed down, he also brought it to help patients. We never saw daylight of it. There was no any day. So what Wedi Nyameche came to pay, maybe we are trying to subsidize it when you can maybe pay 100 or pay 200. We never had anything of that sort, as we sit.
And are we probed to understand what is going on?
Oh, nothing really is coming out. When you ask, nothing really is coming out.
Well, we're working our sources to get an official response from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Da Costa Boaji, says the scheme will soon announce a major decision on the treatment of kidney patients. According to him, the scheme has arrived at a decision to absorb the cost of treatment for a certain period for the patients. Listen to him.
I think we've made progress on dialysis. So just last week, a committee that has been set up to chair and implement the disbursement of the funds that were approved by Parliament has actually concluded their report, including the dialysis patients themselves. So we work with them. They have concluded, and I can confidently say that within the next few weeks, we will be starting the disbursement to the various facilities. I can give you the details, which is obviously the fact that this one was for the needy, what was approved by Parliament for the needy. I know Parliament has also increased the cost of dialysis for the healthcare providers, which is they've taken it to 491. But if you look at Kolebu, we have a philanthropist supporting majority of them with about 380 Ghana cedis. So the difference is about 111. So the other hospitals do not have that support. So we're looking at supplementing for both patients from Kolebu, Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and Central Region. In such a way that for Kolebu, because they do get that support, we will be able to bridge a gap for them. Then we support our patients also from Cape Coast and Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. But the fact is, they do 8 cycles per month. We cannot do all the 8, so we are looking at an average or maybe below average. We're yet to, obviously, like I said, the report is ready, so it's just to be taken to the board for final consideration, then the implementation starts.
However, the program's director at Hope for Future Health NGO, Nancy Anza, has expressed worry over the situation, calling on government to expedite action in solving the challenge.
And it is not only I who is worried, but I think that many Ghanaians are worried because, as you know, if there is someone who needs a dialysis or who needs dialysis, then we are not looking at only one person, we are looking at a family. And therefore, all are concerned about the cost of dialysis. And I hope for future generations, we add our voice to the call that government should look at the cost of dialysis and reduce it further and ensure that many people who need them or who need the services can access it. Therefore, we'll continue to advocate and to call on decision makers to look at the cost and ensure that it is brought to an acceptable standard that many people can afford. As we are talking about quality of health care, to ensure that we achieve universal health coverage, these are also some of the issues that we have to look at: cost of healthcare access is very, very critical, especially when you look at our country and you can realize that 1,000 Ghana cedis a week, which is translated to about 4,000 cedis a month, would be difficult for many people to spend on dialysis.
Well, let's do some other stories touching on the same issue across the country. We head now to Kumasi because the Community Teaching Hospital has appealed for support to begin a life-saving medication for children requiring dialysis treatment. Already, kidney transplant is available on a limited scale nationwide as children benefit from prenatal dialysis for acute kidney injury without any rescue intervention for those with end-stage renal failure. Management of the Community Teaching Hospital has disclosed their readiness to provide the services upon receiving support from stakeholders. Nanabuachi Yadum has more in the following report.
The biggest challenge facing dialysis services in Ghana is affordability. The National Health Insurance Scheme does not cover chronic dialysis services. As a result, accessibility to these services is pocket-driven by clients with a continuous hike in the cost of treatment. The Community Teaching Hospital, realizing the gravity of the situation, is ready to begin the treatment of dialysis for children. Professor Opuni Trial is the CEO of the hospital.
I told you that we had 1.5 dialysis machines at a time. Today we have 4 dialysis machines. The hospital itself, using its IGF, has procured 3 brand new dialysis machines. We are waiting for them. There's a company that is giving us 2 brand new dialysis machines. We are also waiting. We are hoping that by the end of this month, we would have about 12 dialysis machines running. One major thing we are looking at is dialysis for children. As it is, it appears that dialysis for children does not exist. Usually you do not have dialysis going on for children. And so it's one area we are looking at to give children the opportunity to live, irrespective of the fact that they may have developed end-stage renal failure.
Professor Opuni Trial says the hospital is seeking support from stakeholders to purchase machines for such treatments.
When the issues of dialysis came up and Kibu was in the news in respect of price changes and all that, I remember in our discussion, if I remember correctly, that I made the point that we buy from the same source, the same supplier, consumables and all that. And so there's a need for us to also push our prices up. But Kibu took that step. And subsequently, I think that the Fees and Charges Committee of Parliament have sat and reviewed the fees. But Kibu are lucky to have, this is the first care group, subsidizing the payment for dialysis for patients. We don't have that. But it is understandable to an extent because about 80% of the dialysis cases go to Kibu. And in large part was because we didn't have a lot of dialysis machines here at our end. I'm sure that when we get to 12, we are in talks with philanthropists, non-governmental organizations, corporate societies to come in and help.
Meanwhile, the Asante Otumfuo II made a donation of food supplies to the hospital as part of his 25th anniversary celebration. The intervention is to ensure enough food for patients in the hospital.
In total, 1,240 packs of food were distributed to the various hospitals in the metropolis. So Tafo Government Hospital, Menchia Government Hospital, Kumasi South Government Hospital, which is a regional hospital, MCH Hospital, and then of course Community Teaching Hospital. A total of 700 packs came to Community. I was super excited and thrilled when I was told that the King, as part of the 25th anniversary celebrations, and most importantly, the big Akwesi there, wanted to dine with the inmates of the hospital on that Sunday.
Management acknowledged the gesture made by the Asante as a call for more of such interventions.
I want to pray for the King that God continues to endow him with wisdom, with good health, direction, the love for development so far as his kingdom is concerned. I pray that God himself will preserve him and grant us the opportunity to get closer and closer so that we are able to learn from him.
For JoyNews, Nanabuachi Yadum, Kumasi.
Let's do some other stories now. The Locked Up Investment Holders Forum has given until next week, Wednesday, to address their concerns, or they will picket the Finance Ministry again. The members picketed the Finance Ministry earlier today to demand the ministry to revoke the licenses of the financial institutions that have failed to pay their depositors' fund. The picketers got frustrated when the Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. Stephen Amwa, arrived at the ministry and refused to grant them audience. Convener of the group, Dr. Anani Nchi, who was eventually allowed to speak to the Deputy Finance Minister, said Dr. Amwa assured of government's response as soon as possible. But Dr. Nchi says if the response does not arrive within a week, they will have to go back to the place to picket. He's been speaking to my colleague, Kenneth Jesse.
Picketing because of the ban on noise making in Accra. Now they're being disallowed from entering the premises of the ministry. It's currently locked. They're demanding that the ministry, pay the funds of their monies that have been locked up at financial institutions that have been declared insolvent. So let's get closer. Today, we could see a lot of young people have joined in. We see the convener here, Dr. Edu Anane is here with us. Doctor, welcome to JoyNews. You're live on JoyNews. You're picketing here once again. Tell us about it.
Well, I think this is the first time we are picketing. The other time we came, we were supposed to come here and have a meeting with the minister. And we didn't get the minister, even though we had written to the minister that we're going to Bank of Ghana, and from Bank of Ghana we will come here. We came here, the minister wasn't there, no deputy ministers, no director of, chief director, no director of any of the departments were here. So we left. So that day, it wasn't picketing. We were just coming for a meeting that didn't come on. Today, it is the real picketing. We are doing this because when we came here on the 27th and we didn't meet the minister, we sent the minister a petition on 28th to say that we have been to Bank of Ghana. And Bank of Ghana says it is prepared to revoke the licenses of these insolvent institutions and pay us our deposits. But they need funding arrangement from the Ministry of Finance to make financial provisions so that they can revoke the license and pay us our deposit, just as it was done in 2017-2018. So that was a conversation we were going to have with the minister that we didn't get the minister. So the next day, we put it in writing as a petition to the minister to address those issues. 3 weeks, we didn't receive any response whatsoever from the ministry. So after 3 weeks, we sent another reminder, and that was on the 18th. The first petition was 28th of March, and we sent the reminder 18th April, and said we're giving the ministry another 2 weeks at least to respond, tell us what is going to happen. We waited, and we stated in that letter that after the 2 weeks, if we don't receive any positive response from the ministry, we will begin picketing the ministry. So it was black and white, clearly stated in that letter. We waited for 2 weeks, no response whatsoever. So since we have already told you that if you don't give us a positive response, we are going to picket here, and you are not giving us a positive response, then you expect that the picketing is going to come. Meanwhile, we had to engage the police. So we sent a letter to the police, I think on the 6th of May, to engage the police, and we finally settled. And today was agreed to be the first time we are picketing at the ministry. And we have told the police we will be picketing every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, and we are going to do that until the end of November.
On May 15, 1979, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings made headlines as he led his first uprising in an attempt to overthrow the military government led by General Frederick William Akwesi Akufo. The coup ultimately failed, leading to Rawlings' imprisonment, public court-martial and a death sentence. Well, a former member of the PNDC, Sergeant Aloga Akatapori, has been explaining to Raymond Akwa in a yet-to-be-aired interview how this event marked a pivotal moment in Ghana's history.
People thought that was what we were planning. And then we realized that no, it wasn't. You see, it was somebody else had also done something, and it turned out to be Rawlings' one. So it had nothing to do with June 4th. So that plot was still going on. You see, the June 4th plot was still going on. What 15th May did was to validate our idea of trying to do something. And for 5BN, if I must tell you this, is that when Achampong was overthrown, we were not happy in 5BN. But Achampong was very popular amongst us. So by plotting to get rid of Akufo, we thought we were trying to restore Achampong in some way.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is the truth of the matter. You can ask the core 5BN people, they'll tell you.
Like who specifically?
Oh, you know, Tasiri is not well known. Makatenga, I think it's passed on. Most of the people have passed on. Banchamfo, you can ask Banchamfo. Okay, yeah, Banchamfo is still around, and the others are abroad. Kibu and others, they are all abroad now in America. You see, but that was the truth of the matter. You see, so
that by trying to remove the SMC2,
yes,
you were thinking you are
punishing them for overthrowing
SMC1,
yes,
which is really
our
Champon period.
Yes, our father.
Oh, you call the Champon your father?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was nice to us. His wife on Saturdays would actually stay there and cook in his house for us.
Oh, I see.
We escorted his children to school. They were very modest, a very modest family. And we liked them. Yes. You see, he had his bits, you know, here and there, but generally, he was good to us.
We're taking a quick breather here on JoyNews Today. We'll be back with business, to stay tuned in.
Welcome to the business segment with me, Emma Davis. DStv for Business is offering specialist entertainment options tailored to the unique requirements of different business settings in Ghana. According to the head of DStv for Business, Kelvin Kamasi, this package is designed strategically to provide flexibility and value for money for customers. He spoke in an interview with Joy Business.
Understanding the unique needs for businesses today, DStv for Business is designed to provide a superior viewing experience built specifically for commercial clients. In an interview with Joy Business, the head of DStv for Business, Kelvin Kamasa, emphasized that the packages were designed to offer flexibility and a tailored experience for businesses.
So it's similar to the content that you find on residential packages, right? So you have your live sports, you have your general entertainment stuff, you'd have your movie stuff, you have your lifestyle stuff. But again, depending on the environment in which your business finds itself, we have packages tailored to it. So what we want to do is to be able to offer you flexibility, at the same time offer you value and offer you choice. So whatever be your business type, whatever be the business need, once you come and you speak to us at DStv for Business, we'll be able to create a package that suits your establishment type and offer you value for money. Banks, for example, are focused on what? News, general entertainment, National Geographic stuff, stuff that really keeps them, you know, informed on a day-to-day. So we have packages, which is our Ultra Work Essential packages, which focuses on these elements that they need to offer, you know, entertainment to their clients and also their staff.
The head of corporate affairs at MultiChoice Ghana, Ni Ahmad Dagadu, says this package offers value for money for businesses.
We've got the smart service that allows multiple dwellings, for example, in a gated community, to have a common head end where we instead of all the houses have a unique dish on their building. It's possible for you as a real estate developer to install one dish in a particular location and then use some of the solutions from DStv for Business, like IPTV, for example, so that it's distributed and it does not destroy the beauty of the homes. So instead of having, let's say, 70 rooms and having 70 decoders and paying 70 accounts, DStv for Business can give you a solution that will make you pay much less but still give customers the flexibility of choosing channels in their individual rooms and being able to watch DStv and on their terms, essentially.
From keeping hotel guests entertained around the clock to engaging patrons in sports bars and even boosting morale in the workplace, there is a DStv for Business package to suit every business need.
Glyco Healthcare is hoping to take advantage of the ongoing digitalization agenda in the economy to increase health insurance coverage in the country. The move will help to capture more people from the informal sector and thereby increase the country's insurance penetration rate. Chief Executive of Glyco Group, Edward Chase, spoke to journalists after launching the Glyco Retiree Plan and 20th anniversary of Glyco Healthcare.
After operating for 20 years in Ghana, Glyco Healthcare has contributed to the growth of the health insurance industry. As it celebrates its 20th anniversary, the company has also launched a retiree plan focusing on pensioners. Group Chief Executive Fokoche shed more light on Glyco Health Retiree Plan.
Most times you also forget to make provisions for our future when it comes to health. Yes, we talk about our pensions and so on and so forth, but hardly do people talk about health. And that is why we felt the need to venture into that area to provide the needed service to bridge that gap where we expecting that whilst one is working, provision will be made not for current but for the future. So the product will ensure that once you go on retirement, then the provision, health insurance provision that was made at the time you were working would none come in to provide your health insurance needs during retirement.
Mr. Che added Glyco is poised to use technology to enhance health insurance coverage.
So you notice that in most of our products or most of our packages, we have the annual checkups to ensure that if anything is developing, we'll be able to provide the needed treatment before it escalates. So the future, yes, we're also looking at the future where we're going to combine technology and resources available to delight the expectations of the customer.
Speaking to Joy Business, Chief Executive of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Da Costa Abuaje, underscored the importance of health insurance and appealed to health facilities to stop illegal charges.
We are committed in, obviously, fulfilling our obligations, but we also implore them to also fulfill theirs. The issue of illegal charges has become very topical in this country, and I'm hoping that as we continue to pay, facilities will obviously not charge our clients, because it's very important. We need to obviously give good services to our clients, and the things that they are not supposed to pay for, they shouldn't be paid for. We cover at least about 95% of diseases. So we are working with the private facilities, the Ghana Health Service, CHAG, and all the other stakeholders to make sure that we stamp up these illegal charges.
In commemoration of its 20th anniversary, Glyco Healthcare will be unveiling new initiatives aimed at enhancing healthcare access and quality in Ghana.
That'll be all for business. I am Emma Davis. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. JN Today continues. Please stay.
Time now to bring you sports on JoyNews Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abda. Ghana Black Stars will come up against Cote d'Ivoire later today at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium as they open their campaign in this year's WAFU Under-17 Cup of Nations. Head coach of the team, Lai Kinson, says they are ready for the challenge.
Our preparation have been very good in terms of training sessions. Since we got back from Russia, we've eased the session duration a little bit. The intensity has been the same, but the duration we've lessened the duration a little bit because we want them to look fresh in tomorrow's game. And you can see our last match before tomorrow's game, the boys are looking very sharp. They're responding to instructions very well. we have our game plan, and you can see that our game plan is working for us as a technical team. Whatever we wanted to achieve this evening, we've achieved it. It was pressure on us because not even last year, but since 2017, we've not featured in the youth championship. So I know Ghanaians can't wait to see us there, and that puts more pressure on us. But hey, for us, we want the pressure to make us. We are people that we want the pressure so that we bring the best out of us. From where we started, we give thumbs up to the FA. They made us start the campaign very well, our preparation very well, and very early as well. Since November, we put the boys together. Education starts in November. We went on break for Christmas break, came back in February. So since February, we've been together. So for us, I think our preparation has been very good. There is pressure on us. But, where we've taken the boys to, where we are now at the moment, we believe the day the boys turn out well, we can stand anything. Yes, we had opportunity to see at least two of their current games against Argentina and against France. And, we've seen the way when they are on the ball, especially when they are on the ball and they are built up where they want to, the triggers that they want to find before they progress. We find antidote to that.
Head coach of Ghana Black Stars, Lai Kingston, speaking there, and they will play in their opening game later this afternoon at the University of Ghana Stadium at 4 p.m. That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your time.
Good afternoon, you're welcome to the Showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Suma Yabwa. Now, in a nation thirsty for record-breaking glory, recent attempts by some Ghanaians have been met with rejection by Guinness World Records. Yet, defying all odds is one-year-old artist Ace Liam, who has just broken a 21-year-old Guinness World Record in painting. He's now the youngest in the world to do so. Ace is gifted in drawing as well. His mother discovered Liam when he was good at what he does at just the age of 6 months old. We have more in this report.
At just 6 months old, Ace Liam's mother, Chantel Egan, discovered her son's extraordinary talent. A spark ignited within her to share his gift with the world.
He's done 12 paintings, including this 13, so all the behind the scenes will be there. From 6 months up until now.
6 months old? That was when he started painting?
Bigger works are when he was younger. The more he grows, I think I'm able to accommodate him on a smaller canvas. But when he was younger, it's more like body movements and spreading the paint. So the canvas size are as big as the floor. Exactly.
Driven by this passion, she embarked on a daring mission to secure a Guinness World Record for the youngest male artist for her son. It's a record that hasn't been broken in 21 years. With unwavering determination, Ace Liam took on the challenge. His canvas, painting, an exhibition in Accra from January 18th to January 20th, 2024. The stakes were high, pressure immense, but Ace Liam faced it head on. After 5 nail-biting months of anticipation, the moment of truth arrived. Yesterday, with tears of joy, Chantel revealed the news from Guinness World Records.
We have received an email from the Guinness World Record, and we are overjoyed to announce that Ace Liam, at just 1 year and 152 days old, has been officially confirmed by Guinness World Record as the current holder, as the youngest male artist in the world.
But amidst the celebrations, questions linger. What sets Ace Liam apart? How does he defy the odds with such grace?
His wasn't a marathon, first of all. It was an age-based thing. So he's clearly younger than the 3-year-old, which puts everything aside. I sent his birth certificate as proof. And the next thing was, it's up to me. I need to gather enough evidence for them to be able to say, okay, it is true. And that was easy. I'm quite meticulous, so I gathered all the information. My team was there to help. Everybody, even you, Jackie, you also did your part with press. Because it was also, yes, it was also a requirement. So I even submitted the interview you did, talking about Guinness and their requirement. And I think all of it pushed it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, talking about requirements, I think most of those who took part in the Guinness World Record Challenges had issues when it comes to sticking with rules. How did you do that? Because it was recently in April that we had one Ghanaian student hack trees where he actually set a record. We didn't even know he was doing it. It just came that he won. But then people in the past have been talking about the fact that when it comes to rules, I think the lipstick marathon, he also had issues with sticking to rules, Ifwa Santua, Shafila, and so on. But how did you do it? And what were some of the rules that were difficult to stick by?
I think we stuck to all the rules. Someone might think we are bragging, but I think we left no rule on 10. There are even some rules that are hidden in other rules. For example, they give you a generalized rule and a specific rule.
Like a 3-in-1 rule.
Yes.
3A, 3B, 3C.
So they'll tell you, look for a specialist witness who is so and so and so. Make sure you look for the person's business card. It's so long. So you have to go back. They have like a 150-page guideline book. And most of the clues are hidden there. So you need to be able to read. Understanding the English that they've written is also part. So you can ask our PR. We printed everything out. 3 people were reading at the same time. And we were even cross-referencing English, how it was even written. For example, his first rule was, for clarity, the youngest, an artist is someone who is so and so, because usually people confuse artist with artist.
Yeah.
So they have said somebody who paints. So it's there. If he was singing, I wouldn't have gotten the record. Another thing was, they said the artwork should have been purchased and bought, but then it was bought and purchased. So do you sell the artwork before you exhibit it, or do you exhibit it before you sell it? And I was like, it's just a matter of English. At the end of the day, the artwork should be sold and it should be exhibited.
Chantel has hinted at the next chapter following this monumental achievement.
But until then, the next step is to have him do a solo exhibition. He's still 1 year and he'll turn 2 in July. So I'm making plans to organize his first solo exhibition for him.
He hasn't just broken a record, he shattered expectations, leaving a legacy of determination and talent. With finesse beyond his years, he has truly aced this milestone. For Joy News, I am Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
Well, congratulations to Ace Liam. Now, Ghanaian rapper Medical has returned to Ghana after a successful show at O2 Indigo in London. Speaking to Joy News, Nicholas Ekoyamwa, upon his arrival, he addressed his recent outburst towards the media.
It's crazy. It's mad. Yeah, my people there outside, they can't show me love, and then I really appreciate, because it be them and people like you, Joy, where they promote me and then help me make a lot of noise about my show in London, and it was a great success. So I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very excited about the one reception I just received. It's mad. You didn't see them? Crazy. Yeah, I want to say thank you to each and everyone who came to support me. Even people who know there where they support me from afar. I want to say thank you so much. Without you guys, I don't go have that successful event. So thank each and everyone, media houses, bloggers, my colleagues who come support me and their numbers. The only way is up, remember. Thank you.
After your show, there was some issue with you with some media house, right? Going forward, how are you going to, solve that issue and also, bring the media closer to you, making sure that, we are all on the same page?
Me, I love the media because they support my work, you get me? But I'm that type of person that if you come at me, I'll give you a response. Maybe my response might sound or come off as a disrespect, but I don't intend to disrespect anyone, you get me? And I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I apologize for using certain words if I did, but within that heat of the period, I was vexed, you get me? And then I know be robot, so obviously I have feelings. But all the same, I want to say shout outs to all the media houses where they support me.
Well, it's a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
Jacqueline, do you think we should accept that apology from Medical?
Well, we're still thinking about it, after the whole outburst on social media.
But his reasons, though.
Well, I think Shatawale is sort of having but I think we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, that's it for JoyNews Today. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. Some top stories trending there. NHIA to implement 6-month dialysis support on June 1. That's coming from the CEO. Well, my name is Faustina Safo, and I'll be doing this with Jacqueline. Okay, bye.
Bye.